So this looks like a familiar game, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So our very first Let's Play was of Clock Tower for the SNES.
It was definitely a learning experience for us, but it led to many great things down the road.
Such as Laura Bow.
Mm-hmm. So we thought, to commemorate us receiving 100 subscribers, yes, that's right, we somehow fooled 100 of you into thinking that we were worth subscribing to.
Oh, surprise!
But we thought, in honor of that, we would revisit our earliest Let's Play.
And hopefully improve upon it.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we'll see how this goes.
So, looking back on it, why did we pick this one for our first?
Well, way back, I remember mentioning to you that I kind of wanted to do LPs, and I forget, I think it might have been you that mentioned wanting to do Clock Tower for the SNES because you had such nostalgia for it.
I think I had kind of floated the idea, but I think what really solidified it is you were looking around and you couldn't find a lot of Clock Tower Let's Plays that you liked.
Yeah.
Not specifically of this game, but of the other games. Just not ones that went into as much detail as you wanted about the games.
Or it was, I mean, because they're horror games, of course, you run into the thing where, you know, people are just screechy and they're so spooked by everything that all you hear is just this kind of inane prattle about, oh, I'm so scared.
Yeah, which is, I mean, there's more interesting things about this series.
Yeah.
In my opinion, anyways. I think one of the most interesting things for me about this series is just how it starts, like, I like this game a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I find it very, very effective. And then it
sort of just transmogrifies.
Yeah, you end up with Clock Tower 3.
Yeah, and it's just kind of this, it's so different tonally, and
it's dumb. Oh, Laura always looks like she dyes her hair. So, that is Jennifer's friends Laura and Anne.
Mm-hmm.
And over there in the red shirt is Lottie?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lottie or Lot or...
Yeah, I never know how to pronounce that one. Mm-hmm. Lot, I suppose.
I did actually end up looking it up for random reasons the other day, but apparently the name Lot, however you pronounce it, is more popular in Norway, which is where the game is meant to be set, I believe?
Yes, if we're going off of Clock Tower...
Clock Tower for the PlayStation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clock Tower 2 in Japan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I guess, and I mean, Lot kind of gets mistaken for a boy quite often.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a funny thing to me that I guess if you were possibly European, you might kind of get more from her name that, oh, she's meant to be female.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's always surprising to me because you can see that Lot from the side is stacked. Like, ridiculous.
She kind of, I don't know, her portrait is a little boyish, I think.
Well, what's wrong with that, though?
Yeah.
I love Lot.
I love Jennifer's giant eyebrows.
I do like how they're able to kind of give these girls a little bit of character before...
the inevitable.
Yeah. I mean, you can tell that just by the way they speak, Anne is a bit more blunt and abrasive.
Mhm.
Laura's a bit more withdrawn, and Lot and Jennifer seem to have a genuine connection.
Mhm. A little more friendly towards each other in their speech.
Yeah.
I also kind of maybe read it as Jennifer is maybe sort of lower on the totem pole. You know, she's kind of the one that they order to go and look for.
Well, I mean, Lot does offer.
Yeah.
But I do remember kind of reading that Laura and Anne kind of do exclude Jennifer a bit.
Yeah, something in the supplementary materials that Jennifer and Lot were definitely closer.
Mm-hmm. Whereas Laura and Anne have their kind of own cliquish relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So now we're actually out of the intro and playing the game proper.
Mm-hmm.
One of the most interesting things about this game is kind of the random occurrences. So you'll see here as I walk past the window, or at least check out the window. Whoa.
Ooh, I'm so spooked.
Right? And that doesn't happen all the time. So it's little things like this that each playthrough of the game can feel very unique.
Yeah, it gives it kind of its own little flavor.
Mm-hmm. And you can see there the portrait's kind of glitching out, and that's, I believe, a ROM error.
Yeah.
This game was never released in North America, so this is an English patch, and so I am playing on a ROM.
It's a shame that this one wasn't released in North America. It's a decent little game.
It really is. So I lucked out here, and there's a key in this box, which is really nice because if it's not in the box, you have to go on another fetch quest to kind of get it.
Mm-hmm.
So this just makes the playthrough that much smoother.
Yeah. And kind of speaking towards that, again, kind of referencing our first take of the game, you can probably notice that in that first LP we did, we are playing the game as we are commenting. And that's something that we changed, we figured out was not really conducive to good commentary. So since that first LP, all of our following ones, we've always recorded the game first and then done post-commentary.
Exactly, and it's worked out, I think, a lot better for us.
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty distracted during the first Let's Play, because there were a lot of times where Shaw would be like, oh, isn't that interesting? I'd be like, yeah, just
let me just do this.
Yeah, just shut up for a sec. I need to think.
Yeah, I think it definitely, it allows us to kind of bounce off each other more when you're not worried about trying to not die.
Oh, God. And I have to admit, as much as I love this game, I always find recording it to be a bit of a pain.
Yeah.
Just because there's so many ways that you can screw up. And just, yeah.
I gotta shout out this bird here.
Oh, yeah.
Which, I quite like this dude. Because of course, yeah, we need to wrap this sucker up, otherwise he gives our location to our pursuer. Mm-hmm. And I really kind of like that, it's sort of this environmental thing that could affect or impede your progress in the game. And I kind of wish that more games did that. It sort of helps it feel as though you're actually actively investigating an environment rather than just kind of, you know, it kind of makes the world seem a bit more real.
Yeah. And that's how Jennifer does things.
Yeah.
She don't give no shit about that bird, which is appropriate. Good job, Jen. I like Jennifer in this game. She feels very sympathetic. Because she is very alone.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in Clock Tower 2, she starts coming across quite ditzy.
Yeah, and I do wonder how much of it is the voice they gave her.
Yeah, the Disney princess voice.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is a lot of what, probably one of the most, I think I mentioned before, iconic scenes of Clock Tower.
Well, it's a great atmospheric scene.
It really is, and when people think of Clock Tower, I feel like they really associate this scene.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's...
To the point where I feel like some of the other scenes just don't match up.
Yeah. Like, for me, when I started this game, this was really the pinnacle.
Yeah.
Like, this is when I really got hooked on, like, finding out more about it. And I mean, for the SNES, these graphics are pretty pretty impressive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm pretty sure that it's just referenced from photos, but...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
In the intro we saw there, that was probably all, like, actual photos that were kind of digitized. I do wish that we saw, we have that nice fog in the bathroom, and we don't really get to see that again in the game, that sort of atmospheric effect.
Yeah, I'd like to see it more. It feels very cinematic, and you can really tell that they knew what they wanted with that scene in particular. So I was having some trouble finding the hotspot there. Yeah, so Jen kind of did a mad dash, but now we should be okay, because we wrapped up that sneaky bird.
And, and this is something that I mentioned in one of our later Clock Tower games, is that, it kind of works here that we're able to so easily trick Scissorman in this game, because he is a 10-year-old, 9-year-old boy?
Oh, yeah.
So he is probably not that smart. I mean, it could be, too, that his physical deformity, maybe he has a mental one as well.
It's possible. I mean, in the second Clock Tower game, you could argue that you're also dealing with a small child, but he always comes across as more conniving.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't have the same air of...
Yeah, he comes off as too smart to fall for something like that, and yet he does. And it's it just makes him less of an intimidating villain. I think what makes the Scissorman in this game so intimidating is that, he is a child doing unchildlike things, so it gives that unease to it as well. He can't be reasoned with.
Exactly. And I mean, the other way that really benefits Scissorman in this one is he doesn't have a voice.
Yeah.
He never talks. He's basically just a silent force of destruction.
Great voice that he did in the PlayStation game.
Oh, so good. Jennifer.
Oh, God. I do kind of wonder how much of the strength of this game is possibly based on there not really being voice acting.
And I mean, the story itself is also very simplistic.
Yeah.
I feel like it benefits a lot from just leaving things up to the imagination.
Yeah. Yeah, the trope that it's scarier in your imagination than anything they could actually show you.
Exactly, because in this game, you feel like there's something that could possibly be lurking around every corner.
Yeah.
And in often cases, there is. So, yeah, I remembered where to get the black cloak this time. Good job, me.
Yeah, I do. I feel like we definitely kind of streamlined our process a bit.
Yeah, which is really kind of nice. It's a cleaner playthrough for sure. Oh, there's that insecticide.
There's this stupid room again.
Yep. The rope we'll never use.
Again, I'm just gonna block off half the room just to facilitate a hidey hole.
Well, I mean, if you had a big old pile of, like, cult clothes, you'd probably want a secret place for them. You don't want to leave your, like, cult clothes hanging out in the bathroom for guests to see.
Maybe, Miss Mary goes behind there to smoke every so often. And, like, I don't know, maybe she's like,
That's dumb.
I gotta set a good example for my children.
My murdering psychopath children.
No, you don't want them to be smokers. Come on.
Eat your vegetables, Bobby. You want to grow up big and strong.
And then he slams his scissors through the table. That's my boy. And then she just, like, opens a trap door just to the basement and just, here you go, Danny. And throws it down.
Here's some more corpses for you.
I'll sew them on when I get down there.
So, yeah, I clicked on the light switch instead of the door, which is why you can see the switch is broken. So,
well, that's that we're 100%ing this.
Well, you know,
clearly.
you just got to see all the text. Yeah, it's a full package here, baby.
Good. Once again, I really do like the sprites in this game.
Oh, they're beautiful. And I mean, the soundtrack right now is really compelling. Let me sing a line from it.
Yeah. Well, and I do kind of think though that's probably in the game's favor.
Oh yes, I totally agree. But I will say that after like 50 minutes of just clunk, clunk, clunk,
it maybe loses something the longer you play it.
Yeah. But I do agree that the silence for the most part is, it's much creepier than any music would be.
Yeah, and just kind of the sound of the footsteps and...
Yeah, it's all very ominous.
Ooh.
Speaking of ominous...
Oh, goodness, well...
Whatever.
Whatever, I'm tired.
They're probably fine.
Probably nothing.
I mean, really, what could I do if I looked outside and I couldn't do anything?
It's dark out there anyway. She probably couldn't see anything because it's dark out there and it's light in here.
Out of sight, out of mind.
It'll do that weird thing where you can't even see anything but your own reflection.
You know. It's probably fine. So, this is the first time ever watching the game, if you look outside the window there when you hear that scream, you're going to see one of your friends being pushed out a window by someone in the house.
Yeah.
I mean, you presume it's Scissor Man, but...
You know, potentially, you don't know who the assailant is.
I mean, because it could be Miss Mary. It could be Jennifer. And, if the game was really... I got nothing.
Jennifer discovers she has a long-lost twin, also named Jennifer.
It's Jennifer.
Jennifer.
I'm you, Jennifer, only my name is Jennifer.
Have you ever seen a bathroom like this, where, like, the tub and that is in its own separate thing?
No, but...
Maybe that's a sign of the rich.
Yeah.
That's when you can afford an extra door in your bathroom.
Maybe that's bathrooms in Norway. Uh-oh.
Oh, that's a fat-ass cat.
It is a big cat.
Jesus Christ, that cat is huge.
It's probably like, how there's like demon twins? It's probably a demon cat.
That cat is probably bigger than like our entire torso.
It's a big-ass cat.
God.
They probably imported a panther.
I'm concerned for that cat. It needs to go on a diet.
And I'm done with the bathroom.
Yeah, I just wanted to check.
I mean, really, I could check the curtain, but...
And of course, that cat, I believe if you are particularly unlucky, it will be Scissor Man that pops out of that box.
Oh yes, there are 2 boxes. And, I actually managed to not get Scissor Man later. So, Pro.
Yeah, pro strats.
So this is presumably Bobby's room.
Yeah, the nursery of some sorts. Do you think this is the room he currently uses?
I hope not.
He he's got everything scratched up, so I guess maybe the implication is that this is where he sleeps at night and he just stabs paintings for fun.
Mom, can you read me a story, please?
No, last time I did so, you just stabbed the book clean through.
I won't do it this time.
Now, fool me once.
I kind of like to imagine what the Barrows do.
Yeah, what was their...
Yeah, what do they do when they're not kidnapping orphans?
Yeah, like, they're presumably just having a regular life.
I mean, I guess Miss Barry works at the orphanage?
Oh,
maybe?
Yeah.
So, like, really, you think the orphanage would grow suspicious after orphans kept mysteriously disappearing.
Oh, that Miss Mary, she sure adopts a lot of orphans.
Oh, it's funny.
It's weird how we never hear from any of them again. Oh, well.
So that little doll monster there pops up after you pick up the ceremony key. Yeah. Don't have much to add there.
Yeah. Well, I kind of like this room.
Yeah, it's cheery.
Yeah, well, it's kind of quietly unnerving.
Yeah.
Because I believe we've mentioned this in the first LP, is that there's a lit fire here, and the question is, well, who lit the fire?
Yeah.
It's recent. Somebody else is here. Why haven't we seen them? What have they seen?
And I mean, from Jennifer's point of view, at this point, we don't know that there's anything wrong with Miss Mary.
Spoilers. I guess if this is your first look at the game, is probably you picked the wrong video.
Yep. Well, and I mean, how many spoilers have we discussed at this point? Like, come on.
This is your fault for not knowing that we were discussing spoilers.
Shame on you.
God, really? How could you? What do you think this game would be like if it were remade today? Like, if they were to do an HD remake.
I'd be thrilled.
Yeah.
But I'm also probably the worst person to ask about that because all the games I enjoy are old games.
Yeah.
And I can't say, and it sounds so elitist, but I can't say a lot of new games have really captured my attention.
Yeah.
So I think there's a strong nostalgia factor for me when I'm playing games.
Yeah.
So if they just remade this and it was almost exactly the same, but just a little better,
yeah,
I would just...
Maybe if they did, like, because I imagine that they might potentially just redo the environments in 3D, kind of keep the same sort of, maybe keep the same perspective. I guess you could potentially do it not kind of in this sort of side view, but maybe from over Jennifer's shoulder or something.
Yeah, something like that. How would you feel about a full 3D environment?
I don't know. It's hard to say, because I feel like this kind of side view sort of helps make it easier to navigate the manor, as well as kind of help you find items easier.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because it's essentially every screen is sort of like a little stage.
Yeah.
You know, and they could kind of very carefully control the lighting.
That's true, and you don't really get the same option.
Yeah. In a 3D environment where you could potentially move around to your heart's content, there's kind of less of a rigid control about what you, the player, is able to see at any given time.
That's true. So in this room, we're going to release a crow from a cage, and that will benefit us later.
Yeah. Remember my face, crow. I'm doing you a solid.
Well, and I mean, crows are pretty smart, right?
Yeah, oh yeah,
You know.
no, it's I say that knowing that these little bastards are pretty smart, and you should probably never piss one off.
Oh yeah, that crow is like, it's out for revenge. Oh.
One time...
I like that line. I feel like it's so
Yeah.
sad and so... Like, it really drives home that Jennifer is scared.
Yeah. It's kind of a brief little moment to remind you that she does kind of have something at stake here. She is worried.
She is.
One time I was in a Safeway parking lot and I saw this crow and he was struggling with like a little like a fruit cup. And I probably watched him for like...
I need my vitamins!
No, it's like he was like... I probably watched him for like 10 minutes while my mom went to groceries, and he was just trying to get it, and I felt so bad, and I was like, should I go over there and help him? But then I was like, no, I can't, because then everyone will see me, and I'll be the weirdo who's helping the crows. And so eventually my mom came back and then we left, and it was just kind of, he was still struggling with it when I left, and I've always regretted not helping him.
You could have been a friend to the crows.
What if he died because he wasn't able to get that fruit cup open?
Oh, his family probably swore vengeance on you.
Oh, it's been 10 years or so, I think I'm safe.
Crow's like an elephant, it never forgets.
Describing me in detail to all of its grandchildren. For some reason, all the curly-haired women with glasses get mobbed by crows at that particular Safeway. I don't know why. God.
I have a lot of statues of the same type in this house.
Yeah, no, I got them bulk from Costco.
Yeah. Excuse me, I just need to get like 10 of your finest statues. No reason, I just have a mansion.
Yeah, I guess. the joys of being rich.
Yeah. Which, you gotta wonder, like, was Simon Barrows, was he, like, rich before? Where did they make their money?
Well, I kind of assumed that it was kind of the family line passed through him, I think. And I base that on nothing really, just kind of, usually it's, it's passed down through the son.
It'd be great, though, if they were all just, like, scissormen, and that was their trade, and Bobby was like, oh, Dad, I don't want to be a scissorman. He's like, no, son. We in this family, we're scissormen. That's what we do.
Well, and yet, as we're going to see, though, is that Simon Barrows did not want any of that business.
He did not.
No, so he He was the only sane man in the house, apparently. So
And we're not going to see it in this playthrough, but he got locked up in a cage by his wife.
yeah.
And if you get captured by Miss Mary at a certain scene in the game, you end up in a cage.
And if you don't have a particular item,
A ham.
then you
Get it.
And we just touched a statue and we found this stupid thing.
But it's so great.
Beautiful. Looks like something I made in art class in grade 11.
Did you make demons? You know what? I'm not going to ask about your hobbies.
It's probably for the best.
Yeah. So, right over there is a box where Scissorman can come out, except if you really quickly click on the cart.
Oh,
yeah.
Kind of,
I was firing on all cylinders.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of it punishes you for kind of taking a moment to survey the room.
Yeah, either that or it's a cat, but in this case,
Oh, yeah.
I got the cat in another room, so there was a Scissorman in there.
Oh, so you lucked out.
I like the idea that he was just like, I'm gonna pop out, it's gonna be great. Oh, she's going for the cart!
Okay.
And I'll just sit in here, I guess, think about life.
It'd be great if you, like, popped open the lid and there's, like, a little Bobby in there and he's kind of sleeping because he was waiting so long for you, Jennifer.
He waited for hours. It's way past his bedtime.
I kind of wonder if they were to redo the game, if you could see Bobby, kind of glimpses of him acting like a child.
Yeah.
Maybe that would kind of make it a little more creepy, is that you see almost this normality to him, and then it switches over quickly to the murderer's side.
Well, like in Clock Tower 2, how you catch Dan, Scissorman, watching cartoons. Yeah.
Oh, hello, spooky room.
Yeah, this looks on the up and up, clearly.
I'd like to know what this room is used for before it became where I put my corpses.
Maybe it was always the corpse room. You know.
And of course, we run into our dearly departed daddy.
And like, it's neat in the game's context, but it also seems like such a giant coincidence.
Yeah, I don't know, I guess I kind of... It's sort of interesting to me because we kind of get... You kind of realize that Miss Mary and her family are the reasons why Jennifer was orphaned. So I sort of like it in that it's, it's Miss Mary has wronged Jennifer's family.
And she's getting her revenge.
Yeah, it's sort of this almost by fate that Jennifer is the one destined to bring her down, in a way.
Dr. Walter Simpson, just in case you weren't sure of who was writing this note. It's really nice, though, that he did record this, so you didn't just come in the room and you're like, oh, that's gross, and leave.
Well, and it's nice that he had his name embroidered onto his medicine bag as well.
Yeah, very considerate man, Mr. Walter Simpson.
Yeah, I guess it's sort of weird. We have both the bag and the note stating his name, so it sort of seems a bit overkill that we needed both.
Perhaps so. But they didn't die.
I'd kind of like to know a bit more why he knew right away they were demons. I mean, as the game...
Well, they ate his hand.
Well, I guess.
No, that's a pretty big sign.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
If a baby is born with all those teeth and just eats your hand, you're gonna know.
I'm not an expert, but that might happen with regular babies. So, I mean, I think it's unfair for him to jump to such a conclusion.
Well, just give the babies a chance. You'll find that they're really quite nice.
Oh god, there's my other hand. Well, now I'll just use my stump to write my letters. Dear Jennifer, and then he passes out from blood loss. Yeah, I guess thinking about it, him being a doctor, he probably bandaged up his hand, stopped the bleeding, and then what do? You sit in this room and you just slowly die.
Yep. Damn it, I should have just let myself bleed out.
Maybe there would be... Thinking about possible games, what if there's a prequel starring Jennifer's dad?
But that would literally just be like going through your normal day and then driving up to a castle and then being like, oh shit!
This particular case is a little weird.
That's demon baby.
Oh, game's over. Or like the last hour of the game, you're just in a room and all you could do is just pace around.
That would be depressing.
How do you feel about the game? Like, because we don't really ever show Jennifer's life before the orphanage. We only really discuss it.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I feel like it's better without too much detailed backstory.
Yeah.
Like, I feel that it really works because you are just getting a piece of the story, but it's the most interesting part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's true. What happened to Jennifer in the years leading up to this moment in her life wasn't important.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't really need to be shown, just for conservation of story. I guess you could have maybe done it so that if you do show it, maybe it's because you want to show all, she was happy, and now it's trying to contrast it to make all of this seem that much worse because you've ripped her happy life from her.
I don't even know if they mention how old Jennifer was when her father died.
Yeah, it's presumably, she seems to have maybe some sort of recollection or fondness towards her father, so she knew him in some capacity.
If let's say Bobby's 10 years old and Jennifer's 14, that would mean it was when she was 4.
Yeah.
So, that's enough to have some memory.
Yeah. Probably a little fuzzy, but...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Poor Jen.
Yeah.
What a shitty time you've been given because of these barrows.
Secretly, just the Barrows and the Simpsons have been fighting throughout the centuries.
Well,
that'd be the gritty reboot of Clock Tower, where you learn...
AKA Clock Tower 3.
No, it means Jennifer's been reincarnated, and she's the one destined to forever
fight as, say, a rooter?
No!
With a bow?
No, it's different.
Whatever, just keep ripping off Clock Tower 3.
And then maybe one of Jennifer's family members turned out to be the bad guy, and it's such a twist.
Oh, and you're like, what? He's all like, oh, Jennifer, I want to eat your heart. That's kosher. No, literally, I got a priest in and everything.
Yeah, it's not from... I don't...
Wait, a rabbi.
Yeah,
shut up. It was still funny. Still funny.
Grandpa, I think you mean a rabbi. Yeah, shut up. I meant what I meant. That's what I knew. Grandpa wasn't on the up and up.
All the stuff before was fine.
Yeah. I had my suspicions. Like, the camera in the bathtub when I showered, I was like, well, that's a little weird, but, to each his own.
Whatever, let's go kill some bugs.
Yeah.
When they're just hanging out in the meat closet.
Oh, as you do.
Well, I'm glad that, some of their lights work.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta wonder, like, how much of their life do they actually live? Because, yeah, the twins can suffice off of, like...
Of people, raw people meat, or...
But does Mary also eat raw people? The ham in the fridge has to be for someone,
yeah,
right?
I kind of imagine that she probably is, like, a pretty normal human. All things considered. Well, and I do believe that in the PlayStation sequel that they do mention that at one point they had butlers and servants.
Yes.
So...
yes.
Yeah, one of the characters we meet was a former butler.
Mm-hmm.
And so, presumably they did at one point have this sort of normal life, and it's maybe just kind of since the kids have been born that it's sort of been turned on its head.
Yeah. Except I think they did mention that black magic was used to get those demon babies.
Yeah.
So, there had to have been something.
Well, I think it's mentioned that it's Miss Mary bringing all that kind of into the house.
Yeah. But if the Barrows are supposed to have a history of that, So was it like she found out and was like, oh, I want to be in this family. That's sweet.
Yeah, maybe.
And Simon was like, I don't really want to like that part of my family.
Yeah, maybe Simon was just trying to ignore it or move on, and Miss Mary got super into it.
Yeah. Oh, damn, my wife's a crazy cultist. That's going to be a lot of counseling.
One thing that I'm kind of thinking about as we're traversing the mansion here is that maybe it'd be kind of neat if we saw very old parts of the mansion, you know, from like say it was like a centuries old manor house, and so there's some areas like this which have been modernized with electrical lighting and, you know, have been repainted and all that, and maybe there's kind of sections of the mansion that are, you know, are still gaslit or run down and shabby, and I get that we could get the idea that it is the cursed Barrows bloodline, because maybe we kind of see evidence that this has been going on for centuries.
Yeah, I'd like that. Mm-hmm. I mean, although we do find out that they used to live in a castle.
Yeah, but that's the second game. You could...
Yeah, you're right. You could play with it.
Yeah. Because, I mean, at what point would they have built this house?
3 years ago today.
Oh.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary.
So I'm trying to meet up with Miss Mary here, and I couldn't actually get the event to trigger.
Oh.
But it turns out you can still progress quite fine without it. The key's still on the table, so whatever.
Oh, well, there you go.
I was like, should I answer the phone? And then I thought, no.
I won't give her this satisfaction.
I'm not gonna be all like, look, the line's cut, that's spooky. Just gonna be like, oh, it's probably a telemarketer. I won't answer.
I'm a valued WestJet customer. Oh, I'm so happy to hear that.
That's kind.
Oh.
Excuse me, WestJet. Can you maybe get me out of this spooky mansion?
Get me a plane anywhere but here.
So now we have the silver key, which means we can go check out the library.
Or...
I checked one more time. I was like, oh, clearly Miss Mary will be... No? Alright, well, fine.
I just really want to see her face again.
Well, I wasn't sure. You know. Basically, if you haven't seen that event and you were curious about it, you go in, Miss Mary's like, sup, Jennifer, and Jennifer's like, you're a bitch. And Miss Mary, like, runs after you. That's my summation.
The annotated clock tower.
You know.
I will say, we've had a pretty easy breezy run. Jennifer is not, We had the one scare earlier, but we have not really met up with Scissorman.
Yes, I tried to do the cleanest run possible.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do a run like this, you will actually not run into Scissorman until very late in the game. That's one thing that I felt the sequel really improved upon, was the random encounters where Scissorman would just show up after a while.
Yeah, because it's sort of nice to have, you know, just be able to make so much progress in the game, but it does sort of defeat, I think, the purpose of the game, which is to build this atmosphere of you're being stalked constantly when we've gone God knows how long without seeing Scissorman.
Yep. You know, he's off doing his own thing.
Yeah. He's taking a nap in his room.
Well, I like that idea.
Yeah.
Who broke my doll?
That'd actually be kind of, again, like, if you were able to see Scissorman doing childlike things, if you were able to enter his room and randomly maybe he'd be there.
Yeah.
And you could, if you left immediately, you wouldn't wake him, but if you took a few more steps into the room,
he'd be like, Ugh.
Yeah, he'd wake up and stab you.
Yeah. Yeah, and here's our big...
Stupid, pointless riddle.
Well, you know. It's not that stupid. It's a little stupid.
It's kind of stupid.
You're stupid. And I mean, now every clock tower game is supposed to contain a clock tower.
Well, I mean...
And you know what? They followed in the time-honored tradition, except for Ghost Head, which...
It's kind of... I mean... When you call your series Clock Tower... Well, I guess, to be fair, they didn't know it was going to be a series at the time.
Yeah. Yep, you gotta put a clock tower in it.
Yeah, it's sort of, you feel kind of obligated.
Just a little bit. I mean, that said, in the sequel, the only clock tower is where Mr. Potato Head sticks his head.
AKA one of the best scenes in that game.
Oh, that was pretty great. Oh, look, a convenient head hole. But I digress.
It is sort of interesting to look at this game with the sights and scenes of the following games kind of more fresh in one's mind.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like, I kind of like what the PlayStation 1 game tried to do.
Yeah.
It was sort of interesting to see the continuation of Jennifer's story and just being able to sort of see some of the repercussions of her night spent here in that game. Definitely not the most polished sequel that it could have been.
Mm-hmm.
I think if I had to choose, I would probably pick that game to be the one to be remade.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it could be done so much better.
It has the most potential for remake, because you can see a lot of their really good ideas that just weren't really realized.
Whereas this game, I mean, even though it's older and a bit dated, I mean, it still holds up, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the PlayStation 1 game just kind of doesn't.
Partially, again, I think this game holds up so well is because it's so stripped down.
Yeah.
And you've got a very simple story.
Yeah, it's just the bare essentials, which it's hard to sort of find fault in. I think the only thing that you could, is, as we've kind of suggested, is that maybe they could have added something else. But it is also, as you've said, sort of hard to justify it, because maybe the game wouldn't be as effective with all those extraneous details.
So now we've collected all we need to go downstairs into the caverns, so that's what we're going to be doing.
Yeah, so we've got our spooky idol, which is canonically the way that Jennifer made her way down to the caverns, as shown by the sequel game.
Where you find it.
The alternative being obviously the staff that is basically would perform the same function, getting us down into the spooky dungeon.
Yeah.
I like to think that Miss Mary spent many an hour trying to pick out the colors for her spooky room.
What would make it look the most spooky?
I know, a pot of nice fresh flowers.
How about a painting of an old corpse? Yes, perfect.
I'll put the flowers right next to the corpse.
That'd be great.
Yeah, it looks so beautiful. I'm such a great designer.
And down we go. While you're making this house, can you put a weird ladder?
I'd like to hire a carpenter to build a trapdoor so that when I put an idol on a shelf, it opens a hole in the middle of a pentagram, and it leads down into my secret murder dungeon. Do you know anyone that could do that for me?
Ma'am, you've got to stop calling us.
Ma'am, I told you, we're not comfortable taking this offer. God damn it, don't you know who I am? I'm Miss Mary. And then Simon clacks the phone down and he's like, really? Come on, stop it. We're gonna get arrested. But who will build my secret murder dungeon?
I feel really bad for Simon.
He's a long-suffering man.
So, I have dogs, and you know what? I could probably fool my dog with some perfume and a cloak.
You could probably fool a dog by throwing a ball the opposite direction.
I will say that my boyfriend came into my house once wearing a hat, and my dog was not happy. She was like, take off that hat now.
Who is this strange man? And oh wait, the hat. Oh.
Oh, it's you.
Do you think dogs feel embarrassed?
Yes.
Yeah. So then maybe that dog he's seen Jennifer walk away and he's like, oh, that wasn't. Oh.
I guess no, I'm gonna pretend I didn't see that.
Woof woof woof.
Oh, poor Lot.
I'd be kind of curious to see what happened with Lot.
Yeah.
You know?
Jennifer, I'm trying to die here.
Go away.
I'm not dying. I just don't want to talk to you.
Jennifer, I heard that when you die, you poop yourself, and I don't want you here for that. I don't want that to be your last memory of me.
Well, that's too late, lad.
I've already pooped myself, so you go right ahead. Don't feel like you can't do it on my account.
Get out of my game, Laura Bow. Well, we're off to see Hi Doc. Clunk, clunk.
Do you think Miss Mary has to go through and, like, light all those candles?
Oh
in the
my
back?
god, that would be so annoying. And yes, she probably does.
She probably takes great pleasure in it.
Serves you right, Miss Mary.
Or, like, maybe there's, like, a servant that's their job. And they're just like, I don't want to know. Don't want to know.
The nicest servant ever.
Yeah.
And then Jennifer blows him up.
Stepping over like a dead body, like, not my job. Just keep lighting candles. Just keep lighting candles. Don't ask questions. That might be you.
Oh, now I'm sad for this hypothetical servant. Why do you introduce to me such interesting characters?
This is my gift to you.
Well,
Ooh, menacing red lighting.
it's time for the climax. Sort of.
Can you install spooky red lighting in my underground murder dungeon?
I'd also like some curtains.
Some like 20-foot curtains.
Now, Dan, you live behind this curtain. That's what you do.
And if somebody ever peers behind it and it's not me, you come out and you've spooked him good, Dan.
He's probably hungry.
Yeah, maybe actually, he's probably kind of... I mean, he's sort of the form of this giant baby, so maybe he's also kind of baby-minded?
It's possible. Except then in the sequel, he's not, so what the shit?
Maybe the fire birthed him from his baby cocoon?
I guess that's true. That's something extra, I believe, in the Wonder Swan Color version of the game, is that you get to see Dan emerging from his corpse cocoon as a beautiful butterfly.
Beautiful boy. Butterfly. A boyfly.
A boyderfly.
Butter boy?
He's not a fat baby anymore. You can't call him that.
It'll stick with him forever. Oh,
I like how Jennifer pretty much kills him accidentally.
This is a scene, I think, where I really wish that we had better atmospheric effects like what we saw in the shower.
Yeah.
Because that was kind of dumb as hell looking. And
Yeah,
it was...
it was a little bit bad.
It should have been a very intense climactic scene. Maybe if the chase had gone on for a bit longer, maybe the fire starts a bit earlier, and slowly the cave becomes engulfed in flames as we run away?
Yeah, that would be cool. I also like the implication that if you touch a can of kerosene, you will blow up.
Yeah, you just kind of...
I don't know how those brave folks at Home Depot do it. Every day must be a freaking adventure.
Every day they lose at least 5 people to
Kerosene accidents.
accidentally scratch one sweater, and then it creates a spark and they just disappear.
Oh yeah,
Off of-
just poof.
Poof.
Yep. So I kind of like how Jennifer kind of feels bad about killing Dan, possibly.
Yeah.
I mean, she kind of makes these sounds, so maybe she's like, oh, I'm sorry.
It's probably I'm sure she probably didn't expect it, but it's also like, what are you gonna do?
How are you gonna climb the ladder with those scissors, Bobby? Plan ahead.
well, he's doing it one-handed.
Yeah, fair enough.
He's a strong little boy.
Well, clearly.
I would not have been able to scale that ladder so quickly.
So you can see by that yellow lump on the floor that one of our friends has survived.
Oh,
I was doing so well, too. My horoscope said that it would be a bad day. And off I go.
Remember me.
As I once was.
Yes, so our one of our friends is lying there, and that's
Anne. Which is good, because if it was Laura, it'd be kind of weird.
Yeah. It's just her dead corpse.
And here comes Miss Mary to ruin the day. Just kidding. Crows, bitches.
Yeah, my friends.
Hey, we're coming for you next, Shaw.
No, I'm sorry. I give you all the fruit cups you want.
Yes, thousands of fruit cups.
I'll do it. Please, master. Just let me live another day.
And they just keep they're like, no, we're fine.
She's like, I like how she kind of takes a few steps back after they stop.
Yeah.
And Jennifer kind of runs over like, oh, no, I'm good.
I could save you, I guess.
I made an effort. That's good enough.
Probably fine. I'll feel better tomorrow. All right, get up.
Oh, there's...
Come on, bitch. We survived.
It'd kind of be nice if there was some sort of text or something, even if it was just an animation, just to show that they're happy to see each other. Not, hey, come on, smack. Get your fucking ass up. Let's go look at the rain.
Oh, so this ending, although considered the S ending in this game, not canon.
Yeah.
Jennifer is the sole survivor of this incident.
Yeah. And I believe you are able to get, I forget, who is this? Is this Laura or?
This is Anne.
This is, okay, so I believe that you are able to get either Laura or Anne, depending on
who you see die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe both are just considered to be the S ending, regardless of which friend.
Yeah. Well, you'd be pretty pissed if it was like, oh, that's the better ending, if you rescue her, huh?
Actually, Laura was secretly a animal abuser. So, by rescuing her, she goes on to murder those crows. That just tells you. It'd be great if Jennifer just, like, lifted up her arms and the crows came and just carried her away.
And just left Anne standing
Yeah, just,
hello?
Anything? Oh, alright. And then I guess she has to
climb down.
Yeah.
And, hitchhike back?
Yeah, what do you think happened after this moment?
I'd say they climbed down and hitchhiked back.
Okay, well, that's one theory.
Well, what else?
I don't know.
Come
I guess,
on. Did they just walk back? I guess they might have.
Yeah, or like, did they call the police there or something, or like
on the phone with no line?
Well, maybe now that.
Damn it, WestJet! Stop calling! I'm trying to get to the police.
How is WestJet able to get through and we can't get to the police?
God.
WestJet can call through anything.
Yeah. Neither snow or storm or whatever the rhyme is.
Cut phone line.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I do love this game. I think it's astonishingly effective.
Yeah.
I have so much affection for it. And I love that it spawned such a dumb series.
Yeah. It's sort of, it's the series that you kind of wish that obviously you wish that each game would have improved on each other. But at the same time, some of the dumb stuff is so funny to watch that...
so charming.
Yeah, that it's almost... You're kind of glad that it took such a swerve into Stupid Town.
Yup. Oh my goodness. But it'll be interesting to see what Nightcry does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
which... I forget, but we might have started these LPs with the knowledge that Nightcry was potentially going to happen.
We did, yeah.
And, I mean, we're still kind of waiting on it.
But, fingers crossed,
Yeah,
because I would really like to see a clock tower for the new age, as it were.
Clock tower done good. Maybe?
We'll see.
Tastefully?
I don't know if Tasteful's really in the spirit of Clock Tower.
That's true.
Come on now.
And then,
do you want to go?
And then Jennifer pushes her off the top.
Surprise, fucker!
So Survivor! It'll look good in the papers!
So thanks for watching, guys. It was kind of fun to revisit this game.
Yeah, we hope you enjoyed a second look at Clock Tower for the SNES.
Yeah.
So we will see you guys next time, and once again, we'd like to thank, everybody who's subscribed and who's watched the videos so far. It really is weird and humbling to us that so many people care enough to watch our videos weekly. Mm-hmm. So once again, thank you.
God damn it, let's start again. We clearly have nothing to say.
Oh my god. Wait. Okay, 47 seconds.
Why is the intro screen so funny to you? We're not going to be able to do this. It's just going to be 20 minutes of you cry laughing.
How did we get to, like 5 LPs?
I don't know. We're clearly shitty at this.
How did we get past 1?
I don't know.
Oh my god. Now I'm tired.
No. I can't think of anything to say.
Oh god.
Okay.
This is a huge mistake.
They're so bad.